Welcome to the silent tomb where history's secrets are unearthed. Jebel Sahaba, site of humanity's first war. Between 13,400 and 18,000 years ago, the world stood at the edge of an ending ice age. The Sahara, once a thriving land of rivers and grasslands, was dying. Water sources dwindled, fertile lands turned to dust. The great megafauna, mammoths, saber-toothed cats, woolly rhinos, all fading into extinction. But humans were changing. Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, Denisovans, each one struggling to survive. Tools sharpened, minds grew sharper. Small clans gathered, not just to live, but to fight. This was not yet a world of nations. This was not yet a world of armies, but war was coming. Near the Nile River in what is now northern Sudan lies Jebel Sahaba. Its name means Mountain of the Companions. Beneath the earth, a graveyard remains. Skeletons pierced by stone weapons, bones shattered, wounds unhealed. A silent battlefield from over 13,000 years ago. At Jebel Sahaba, survival was battle. Two groups, different in ways we will never fully understand, hunted, fished, and foraged along the banks of the Nile. They lived on the edge of existence, moving with the seasons, following the water. But the land was changing. The river was shrinking. The animals were disappearing. And when survival was no longer guaranteed, desperation took its place. The first encounters may have been tense but peaceful. A warning glare, a line drawn in the dirt. Then came the first arrow. One death led to another. A warning became a retaliation. Retaliation became bloodshed. They did not fight for conquest. They did not fight for power. They fought because the alternative was starvation. As Windorf and Schild, archaeologists at Jebel Sahaba, noted, the hunter-gatherers of Jebel Sahaba relied on the Nile's resources. And as those resources dwindled, so did peace. Then it all began. The whispers began. They are taking what should be ours. They are waiting for us to starve. We must strike first. The decision to fight was not made out of greed or ambition. It was made out of fear. They fought with stone-tipped arrows, and once the first arrow was loosed, there was no going back. Sharpened spears, wooden clubs, and knives of chipped flint. Weapons once meant for the hunt, now turned against each other. These were not warriors as we know them. They had no uniforms, no ranks, no grand strategies. Their war was silent, except for the hiss of an arrow, the crack of bone, the final gasp of a dying man. The remains tell the story. Flint arrowheads embedded in ribs, skulls caved in by clubs, fractures that never had time to heal. Among the 64 skeletons uncovered at Jebel Sahaba, 38 bore signs of trauma. 16 had fatal injuries at the time of death. Many had projectile points embedded in their bones. Others had cut marks and fractures, some of which had healed, evidence of repeated violence over time. The people of Jebel Sahaba buried their dead. They arranged bodies carefully, placing tools and weapons beside them. Why? Was it an act of love? A belief in an afterlife? Or was it guilt? An unspoken hope that the fallen might find peace somewhere beyond this broken world. Did they ask their gods for forgiveness? A question remains unanswered by time. At Jebel Sahaba, archaeologists uncovered 64 bodies. 48.7% female, 51.3% male, many with wounds still visible in their bone. 38 of them bore evidence of violence. Some had flint arrowheads lodged in their spines. Others had skulls fractured beyond recognition. A few showed healed wounds, evidence of a conflict that spanned years, perhaps generations. Was this the first war or just the first one we found? Did they know what they had started? Did they ever dream of peace, or was war the only future they could imagine? A question remains unanswered by time. They fought because they had no choice. We fight because we choose to. We tell ourselves we are more advanced, more civilized, and yet we still send young men and women to die for causes they do not understand, at the orders of men who will never stand beside them. We have learned nothing, and so the cycle continues. The people of Jebel Sahaba fought with stone-tipped arrows, their hands bloodied in the struggle for survival. We fight with nuclear warheads, our fingers hovering over buttons that could turn entire cities to ash. If the first war was for survival and today's wars are by choice, then what will be the reason for the last war? After thousands of years of war, has anything truly changed?